Okay guys, I know a lot of you have not heard of this book, but this is almost like a volume 3 of the Regards from a Friend, Regards from Seattle. This one came out after the smaller blue book, Regards from Seattle. And this is it's a completely different book, but it's like a continuation from where the Seattle blue book left off. There's a volume 1 of Regards from a Friend, George Lee and Bruce Lee. That was volume 1. And then volume 2 was a blue cover that was Regards from Bruce Lee, Seattle. And this is like the third one. This is actually a real big book. You see that? It's like a full-size book. It's a big paperback. To me, this is one of the best books ever made. And it's a lot like those first volume 1 and volume 2, but bigger. It's got a little bit more information, but it's still like a letters book, like Bruce writing letters to Taki Kimura, or the book with George Lee. And this one came out March 2016. I got this book in my invoice. I got this book July 4th, 2016. So like about 3 months after this book came out. I enjoyed this book a lot. I mean, I know it's a paperback, but I love the cover of the book. And this was made in Japan by Dave Tadman and Sophie Tagawa. And I'm gonna flip around the back and show you guys the back. Look at that back cover. Very beautiful. And that's Bruce Lee's Green Hornet test photo that he signed for Taki Kimura. And Taki actually had that in his grocery. I think he had it in his store. I know Alan Joe had one that was signed like that in his grocery store, but I know Taki worked in a grocery store too in Seattle. And there's the spine. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that back on there, and then I'll come right back and take you guys inside the book. Okay, I'm back. So now we're gonna browse inside this book. There's the title page, table of contents, introduction. I love these old original John Fan Kung Fu Institute, Jeet Kune Do, and Bruce Lee's Tao of Kung Fu certificates. This happens to be my favorite one right here. It's the one with the dragons, the John Fan Kung Fu Institute certificate. Original one. I would love to own one of these, even blank. You can see another one, to Taki Kimura. That one's from 1967. Yeah, I haven't seen any reviews on this book yet, so I thought I would pull it out. I've had this book for about 8 years. 8 years now I've had this book. Time flies so fast. I've always been buying these high quality books, and this is one of them. See how there's a letter 1, just like the other 2 books, but this is a bigger one. And this one is not, it's not the same. It's actually different from those other 2 books, but it's the same style, the same name. It's actually a continuation from those. There's a letter right there. Bruce writing to Taki. Yeah, I think this is better than the volume 1 with George Lee, and then the volume 2 small book that's blue from Seattle. This one's the best out of the 3. And of course the unauthorized version. That's not an official volume 1, but it's actually it's actually an early version of volume 1. It has a lot of good pictures, letters, information. These books are really, really good books. Really, really good books. This is a must have. I had to have this book. I haven't seen a lot of book reviews, and it's mostly the Steve Courage stuff. And I really don't see anybody with this book. I've got lots of other books on my shelf. I mean, I'm not a true book collector. I only go for the more important ones, but there's collectors that have ridiculous amount of books. Like, I don't know why you would need that many Bruce Lee books. I mean, some of them are just repeats in different languages of the same book. It's like you get nothing out of having those extra books. But it's kind of, I mean, I can understand, like, if you collect records, you got to have all the records, right? It's kind of, I guess it's kind of like that with books. Like, each record, you'll get the same record, but different countries pressing. For me, I don't know. It seems like it makes more sense with the records than the books, but yeah. And this is my favorite set of Bruce Lee photos ever. These GH Green Hornet test photos. There's a GH 51. I have some of these originals in my collection, which are just treasures. You have to have these photos original to know what I'm talking about. You'll know what I'm talking about. If you ever see the original ones, you'll know how sharp they are and why they're worth so much. And this just goes on, and this book is loaded. It's not a small book like those other ones, like the volume 1 and volume 2. This one's like loaded. I mean, it's got tons of information in this book. That's already letter 27. They have it just done just like the other books, but this happens to be a little bit more detailed. Bigger photos, a lot more photos. Just more detail, more pages, more everything in this book. This is a beautiful book, so I highly recommend you guys getting this book right here. It's big. You see how big this is? That's a pretty big size book, and it's sturdy. The binding is good. Everything on this book is good. And it's pretty cheap now. You can find this book pretty cheap. It's a very high quality book. It's a paperback, but everything on it is quality. The paper is quality. The printing, the image printing on there is quality. Everything on this book's quality. I mean, I think this book should have been a hardback. That's how good this book is. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Our regards from Bruce Lee, Seattle, from 2016. And it says volume 1. It's funny is because they never made a volume 2 of the big book like this. This is, in my opinion, technically volume 3, because it continues with those other 2 books. It's the same style book. The other ones were small. They were about like up to here. They were small, a lot smaller. So even though they didn't make a volume 2 of this, it's kind of like a volume 3. So yeah, I still need to get the other 2 books. So I'll have all 4. I have the unauthorized version, George Lee's Regards from a Friend. I didn't get the actual authorized version, and then volume 2, and then this. I don't know why they call it volume 1. It should be volume 3. But that's the end of my review right there. Thank you guys.